posting us places. How is everyone's day?
A slow start to the day.
I had a fast start to my day.
Yeah, I had
Sort
a
of.
migraine for like 2 days, which it started like right after the Storyteller's Hearth. I go into D&D after, and at the end of D&D, I was like, I'm really tired. I want to leave all of a sudden. And then I came out, fell asleep instead of listening to the book.
Yeah, the
But
guys and I on the flash fiction free for all last night, when we were talking about it, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's got, and I was like, I'm like, it's not the technical term, but it's kind of known as like the vacation migraine. And Matt was like, oh, I don't get migraines, but I completely understand. So we talked about that a little bit, and I was like, yeah, like for conventions, we call it the con crud.
yeah.
Which is why I won't be streaming next Monday. So.
Yeah. And then I slept like all day yesterday. I listened to the book. I finished the book in time, but I was like, no.
Well, that is because no matter how terribly we feel, Will Patton's voice makes things better.
I did like have to rewind through like a chapter because I was listening, but I'm like, I'm not processing anything. And it was like one of the climactic chapters. So if I'm a little hazy on the climax of the book, that's why.
Well, yeah. We'll go ahead and intro the book talk. Well, no, you intro the book talk.
Hello and welcome to Book Talk with CB and Sam. Book Talk is a bi-monthly, that's the right term, right? Bi-monthly, whatever, it's twice a month, stream that we do where one of us picks a book that we like and we make the other read it. And then we sit down and talk about it. And it's partly as a way to force each other to read books, and it's partly as a way to broaden our horizons or something. The first pick is my pick. The second pick is Sam's. This is Sam's pick, and it's the third book in the Raven cycle, Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater.
Bi-monthly is apparently accurate for every other month and twice in one month. That's not confusing at all. But it is the correct term for both. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure that's the correct term, but that's not where my brain goes. So, yes, the Blue Lily Blue picks up on kind of the everyday life they're living since Moira, who is Blue's mother, has gone missing. She went looking for the mythical lover that she produced Blue with. I had such a smoother way to say that, and like disclaimer, I started a fresh migraine this morning. My doctor gave me an emergency migraine shot I have never had before, so I don't actually know how it's going to interact with me. The migraine pain is gone, but I think that it has hastened the post-drone, which I'm going to be a little more discombobulated, plus I rushed to get in here and set up and stuff.
It's obviously going to be very eloquent and put together stream.
That's okay. That happens to us a lot. If we let that stop us, we'd never have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've been looking for her everywhere, have not had a lot of luck. They're trying to find a new way into Cabe's Water, one that they can control, because they tried the one way, and Gamzee almost died. Because he fell. Thankfully, they all practice, safe excavation practices. Yeah. And so Gamzee fell into a cavern.
Sam, your audio just cut out. so underwatery.
Why is the mic not an option?
Well, now you sound mostly normal.
Oh, that's output. Okay, we're gonna see if this fixes it. Did that fix it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. The audio selection being weird. But, yeah, so Gansey fell in the canyon, but he's tied to Adam, who's face dirt in the mud, who is tied to Blue, who is tied to Rowan. They're all tied together.
Yeah.
Ronan, not Rowan.
Rowan, our friend, is just there as well.
Which there was a sweet moment that kind of showed how much like Ronan cared about Blue / is a decent person in general, because she started to fall and he just grabs her, no hesitation, nothing. He is her anchor in that moment. So, and she's like, oh, noted. Which I was like, I like that our POV character made a point to note that Ronan did that for her. I'm like, that's because I do things like that, and I'm like, I like seeing stuff like that. But the issue was that Gansey's phobia of bees in this moment acted up because he is deathly allergic and has in fact died once before already being stung. And it, as we know in Caves Water, if you think things, they can become reality. But then, like, all of them are like, Caves Water, you motherfucker, I'm your Grey Warren. You said I would not be hurt. You hurt him, you're hurting me. And Adam's like, I agreed to be your eyes and your
They were all like blackmailing.
They're all guilting Caves Water so hard. They're like, don't let Gansey die. Like, Blue is all like, this is not what he was wearing in my death vision. This is not what he was wearing in my death vision. And then instead of like hornets surrounding Gansey, it's ravens. In this, I'm sure, very majestic scene happened, but I don't picture things, so I'm just like, I assume it's majestic. It sounds majestic. So they keep digging and stuff, and they do find somebody, but it is not the Welsh king that they have been looking for. It is instead the bastard daughter of the Welsh king, who has been tied up in shame. We're not 100% certain why. Like, they're all like, the way that she's tied up and stuff indicates that she's being used as a decoy, and it is like it's whatever, you know, she's being punished for doing something shameful or illegal. But also, like, we know how times are, and we trust.
Tried to kill her dad, I thought.
Did they confirm that she tried to kill him?
I think she said she tried to kill him to stop a war.
Ah, that's probably it then.
Or tried to kill someone to stop a war. And she failed, and they asked, do you want to be hung or be used as the decoy? And she said, I want to be hung, so they used her as the decoy.
Thank you. I must have had a moment at that. Because I was listening during a migraine as well. But, yeah, her name's Gwynthlian?
Yeah.
Which, what is our Welsh king's name again? Glendower. So I was like, the GGs. But also, interestingly enough, she was tied up there by Artemis, whom is Blue's biological father. And Blue is like, I don't know how I feel about that. And our boy Gansey is like, I don't know how I feel about Glendower having sanctioned this.
Yeah. Was he awake at this point?
And at one point, she's just like, oh my god, Gansey, you're such a fucking king. You're so much like my shitty dad. I can't even with you.
Oh my god, she keeps calling Gansey, like, little prince, and everything. Prince. And it's just fucking, you know, strengthening my Gansey's Glendower's reincarnation.
I love when she's all like, order me about, little prince, like the king something, and she's like, tell me what to do. And he's like, did Glendower order people around? And she's like, no, he asked. And Gansey's
like, oh, good.
this tracks with how I imagined a king.
It's like, I don't want my ancient Welsh king who's not been operable for hundreds of years to disappoint me.
Yeah, he's like, I would like him to match with modern morals, please.
Not even just modern morals, Gansey's in particular.
Oh yeah, Gansey's specific morals.
He's like, no, Glendower can only be one way, and if he's any other way, I'm gonna be so fucking disappointed in him, and I will let him know.
Yeah, completely missing the nuance that, like, if somebody in power asks you to do something, depending on the culture and the way things are, it's the same as an order.
Yeah.
And the reverse can be true. Like,
The illusion of choice, though.
yeah. Or like or something could be like, you know, oh well, it's official orders, but like there's no actual consequences if you don't do it. You know, there are nuances there, but it's okay, Gansey. We'll let you do what you do. They do eventually find. Oh, so they also go out to like Hicktown. I can call it that. I live in the boonies. I've known people. Like, but like it's a very pleasant, like it's such a super country, like town where they're all like, oh hey, and Blue's like, I can speak country, it's fine, and they're like, okay, or Gansey's like, all right, go ahead, and she's like, hey, like I'm looking for a cave, and they're like, oh, you mean like Jesse? I forgot his last name. They're down by there, and then they go there, and it's like, oh, they're not here. And they get bounced around until they finally Diddley. It's the Diddley farm, and we find out that this cave is cursed, and like once a generation, Diddley blood is fed on it. I did things out of order because what was in the Diddley cave was Gwendolyn, and when they took her out, Jesse said, well, she protected this cave and kept people safe because her magic was actually keeping like these monsters and stuff at bay.
Yeah, even though she was fucking with his family and making them like kind of go insane and shit.
Yeah, she is the epitome of a questionably great, just chaos, a chaotic character. You don't know where her morals align because she has been keeping these monsters and stuff at bay from leaving the cave, but she has also specifically been targeting and tormenting this one family, and like they've been sacrificing a family member to her once a generation. But like the sacrifice is also questionable in itself because the way they talk about the blood is they're like, oh, and I guess like she's been drowning in the blood or something, or the blood keeps her quiet. So it's like, are they sacrificing the blood and the life to her, or just to whatever is keeping her there? So
yeah, it's very unclear, which is interesting.
Yeah, we also meet they are one of my favorite antagonist couples. Not necessarily because I think they are like the best of couple, just because they are so entertaining as a couple. And that's we had Mr. Grayman, now we have Mr. Green. There's another part to his name, but I can't remember right now.
I can't remember either.
And his girlfriend Piper. And
Wife.
Are they married? Okay, his wife Piper. So Mr. Green is introduced into town when he goes to Foxway to get his fortune read. Mostly he's looking for Moira, and they figure that out quickly because his fortune is insidious towards Blue and them. Yeah, it's not subtle. It's so. And then he also becomes the Latin teacher at Aglenby.
Because the Latin position is cursed or something. Like, it's not actually cursed.
It's the defense against the dark arts position. To be fair, they had a steady Latin teacher for years until they found out he was a murderer. And
That's not a defensive statement.
Yeah. They found out he was a murderer, and then also he was killed in book 1. And then I don't think we knew much about the Latin teacher who was the Latin teacher in the last book?
It was Summer. They didn't have a Latin teacher.
Okay, there you go. So then technically this is only their second Latin teacher, but
Yeah.
like,
But
or be Mr. Green is highly questionable. And apparently he's really good in Latin, but he's like, I only care about Latin for practical purposes and how I can use it, not like because of the language itself. He also heavily criticizes Ronan's grammar and stuff, which I think is funny because Ronan up till this point has been portrayed as like a Latin master, which also makes me wonder if Ronan just knows a more like casual form of Latin that like the everyday man would speak. Yeah, he's not
Latin.
He's the poor Latin, which would fit with Ronan, despite him having.
Or he uses like normal conversational Latin
Yeah.
versus like the Latin that was written in like scriptures or historical stuff that Mr. Green would be researching.
Yeah, I think that's what I said at first, the everyday man Latin, which, yeah, but Ronan automatically hates this man.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
I did not enjoy the scenes between Piper and Mr. Green.
I thought they were entertaining. With Piper and Mr. Green shows, like, from his perspective, whenever he thinks of Piper and stuff, I felt like he really cares about Piper. He just has absolutely no confidence in himself and does not understand why Piper is with him, but he'll take it.
I want to fucking murder that man.
Oh,
I'm so glad.
Valid. He is not a good man at all. He is a coward.
Piper, at least, I'm like, yeah, girl, go murder some people. Like,
I love and adore Piper.
But oh my god, every time he thinks a singular thought, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Which is fair.
I thought you were going to be like at least a semi-cool villain.
No.
Or like, and the two of them felt so much like fucking Three Stooges-esque villains. I don't know, something about them was so, or like children's movie. I didn't get a threat from them at all.
Well, okay, so if we remember from book 2, Mr. Green was the one that Mr. Ray was always talking to on the phone. Mm-hmm. So I knew that Mr. Green was going to be a sniveling dork. Like, I went in expecting that, because that's how he was on the phone, right? He was a sniveling dork who hired a bunch of hitmen to do his dirty work. I didn't expect, which I guess, like, in comic books and stuff, they set up this thing of, oh, well, if you've got, like, a bunch of powerful hitmen and stuff, then the guy at the top has to be, like, the toughest, right? Which I think is not usually the case. No. So, but because I was about to say, I wouldn't have expected him to be like, who's Daredevil's guy?
Kingpin.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting a Kingpin type thing. I was just expecting
more like Mr. Gray.
Or like, I don't know. Or him having another right hand that is the muscle to the mind. But I mean, like, this is an interesting take, but I was just like, I didn't feel the threat of them as villains at all in the book.
I think, for me, they're, at least in this book, they're not the looming threat.
Yeah.
Especially with the way this book ends, I think them being in this book is more just like a setup to get us familiar with them and stuff, because, you know, this book ended on a cliffhanger, so.
Yeah.
But I liked Piper and how she was like, at first she was just not into this. She's like, I go along with your schemes because I love you and I want to spend time with you, and that's the only reason I'm in this really shitty town. And he is, in his weird little dork way, just astonished but not surprised at how well Piper has ingrained herself already. She's got like a book club. This girl is doing things, going places. But then she starts to become concerning because the sleeper, like, there are 3 sleepers. There is one they should wake, one they should not wake, and one in between. Adam theorizes that he was the one in between, or at least he hopes so. We as readers do not know for certain or not if that is true. This book, the main threat of this book, and the thing that I think we were supposed to feel was dangerous, was the sleeper that should not be woken up. And it starts communing with Piper through mirrors. And we kind of get the thing that, like, it's been there since book 1, and
Yeah.
It's been the insidious force behind things, drawing like people to try to wake it up.
Mm-hmm.
And Gwen Gwen
Let's just call her
Gwen.
Gwen. They do call her Gwen a couple times.
All right. Hey, Savion. And yeah, so Gwen reveals that she and Blue, they're both amplifiers, but she refers to them as mirrors. She says basically we take what it is and we like reflect it back stronger, right? But this also comes with a certain immunity to things, because she's like, because we just reflect it, it doesn't actually affect us. Once everybody ends up in these caves and tunnels, which Mr. Gray, like they tell Mr. Gray about Mr. Green, because Mr. Green like directly threatens the children, and Mr. Gray is all like, I will handle Mr. Green. And at first he does so just by threatening him. Piper is very angry about this, because the way he threatens him is he holds a gun to Piper's head, seemingly for at least an hour or two, because he makes her miss a class. I think spin, but I don't want to for sure say spin. Which I'm like, that's valid. Piper's valid in this. But basically, they have a thing, and Mr. Green himself is not the threat. It is the network that he has set up that is the threat. That basically, if anything happens to Mr. Green, his network of tech minions will essentially ruin their lives. And so Mr. Gray's like, we have to solve that first. And so Adam and Ronan work together to invent a dossier and to plant evidence that is technically fake, but because Ronan is a skilled Grey Warren and dreamer, he can make it very real. And so, Adam and Ronan specifically like go up against Mr. Green, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna like release this and stuff. And Mr. Green is basically like, this isn't enough to like really end me, but I do not want to deal with this, and there are definitely a lot of enemies I would gain, and like, how am I going to explain to people this isn't real when they've made it so real?
Yeah, and he's like, this is not worth dealing with this.
He's like, I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about him as a bad guy, is because he's a very like he's very calculating. It's very much risk versus payoff, and I'm like, I don't see that a lot in fiction. At least I don't see it where they actually back down. And I like that. Unfortunately for him, Piper,
not that kind of villain.
Piper is the strong arm of the relationship, and while he has been dealing with his own magical things, she has been dealing with she's been hiring thugs to go like excavating and stuff. And Mr. Green's like, Piper, what have you done? Where? But he's like, nope, all right, I'm going with her. And they start to like, two things are happening simultaneously. Our group of kids, our main group, are now going into the caves to look for Moira. Because our darling Persephone, who has been training Adam this entire time, she visited Adam and basically told him, she was like, the most powerful of like witches essentially works in groups of 3, right? 1 is fine, 2 is bad because it breeds rivalry and competition, but 3 is the best because
and that's the exact opposite of what's saying at the end.
Well, that's the exact, yeah, we'll get there. Well, sort of. It's a little different.
It's a little different, but it is.
Yeah,
not.
both of them are 3 is the best, but it is different with the 2.
Yeah.
And she was like, I thought you would be the 3rd to replace one of us. And she's like, but I think you're more like me in that we're very different from the others in ways that they're not always comfortable with. And then he goes in to get a drink because he had already bought her a drink, and the cashier's like, oh, you're really thirsty? And he's like, no, I got one for my friend. And they're like, what friend? And he goes out, and Persephone's not there.
Where did he get the money?
He gets the feeling that, and our Persephone had gone to the mirrors in Neve's old room, and she has passed away from whatever was in there.
Yeah.
Which is also where Blue is able to go between the mirrors and pull Persephone out because she is unaffected by the mirrors.
Her body out. Her soul is gone.
Yes. We don't know where her soul is. She may have just moved on. She might be trapped in the mirrors, but
her body is now decomposing.
Yeah, she did.
She did.
When I first read that, I legit cried.
Yeah. I didn't cry, but I was like, I sensed this whole book with her taking Adam under her wing. I'm like, I don't think she is long for this world. And then I was like, I kind of feel like one of the women of Foxway has to die, and I don't think it's going to be Moira. And then when she started being the mentor to Adam, I was like, oh no. And then
yeah, like when she gives Adam her tarot set, I was like, what you doing?
Literally, I'm like, girl, you know. And then they're like, do you know when, like, he's having the conversation, do you know when you're gonna die? And she's like, yeah. And
she's like, everybody sees their own death. They just look away.
I'm like, girl. So.
But then that, like, kind of spurs that group on, and then they're like, we're going in, which Kala really wants to go in, but Blue is basically, without saying it, is like, I can't lose you too. Like, if it turns out that Mom is gone, I at least need you here. Which also, during this whole book, there's been a lot going on at Foxway behind the scenes, so, like, she wouldn't be truly alone because she has so much family and stuff, but, like, those three were essentially her three moms.
Yeah.
So she's like, I need at least one mom left, damn it. So Kala, she's all like, I'm a grounder. I ground things, so I'll stay here and be the grounder. That way she could still be useful.
Okay. That's the point I think I was, like, half falling asleep towards.
Yeah.
Because it was all the sad stuff, and I'm like, ah!
You were falling asleep. You were starting to emotionally block it out.
Yeah.
So then this group goes in. I'm going to follow this group for a little bit, then I'll catch the other group up. Because I actually think that's how the book does it, or that's how my brain prioritizes.
That's the reverse of how the book does it, but it's fine.
Well, the more important group to me.
Yeah. That's fair.
So they go in there, and there's a bunch of, like, elk skeletons. Like, I think specifically Welsh elks?
I don't remember, but yeah.
But they're just skeletons and stuff, and they're like, oh, well, maybe we have to wake the elks. It's like practice for waking the king. And I'm like, that's so sweet.
This is the scene that I, like, locked back in for. Like, they were saying something about, like, Gansey in a second, where he gives the order, and that kind of locked me back in, and then I went back to, like, the beginning of the scene, and I was like, wait, this scene's so fucking cool.
I know. So, like, he wakes, he just tells the elks, he's like, wake up, and they all wake up. But then now our poor teenagers are amongst a stampede of elf skeletons, and Ronan and Blue are the only two who, like, are quick enough to be like, oh, we must grab onto the elks.
The other two are like,
It's so fitting that it's those two.
Yeah.
But then they end up separated from everybody else in, like, this pitch black lake area.
They left their boyfriends behind.
Yeah, Ronan is the only one of the two with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they toss
Or it's
something.
like this camping lake, because it has this, like, string wire thing at the end.
And so they, like, look at the lake and stuff. They go over, and in the lake, Blue is seeing her mother dead. And she just keeps seeing her mother's dead body just, like, floating there and stuff. And she's, like, starting to spiral. And then Ronan pulls her away. And as he's pulling her away, he's all like, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. And then I forget if she asks him who he sees or if he just offers it. But she goes,
how do you know?
He admits that he sees his dad. And so he's like, I see my dad. And he's like, so no, it's not real. It's not, you know, that. And then they toss something in the lake, and it dies.
Dissolves.
Dissolves.
It's a rock, and it dissolves. And then they also saw one of the elks ran into... Or Ronan says his elk went into the water and dissolved.
Yeah, his elk ran in the water, and it just... No more elk.
Right.
But Blue's all like, okay, hold on, that means it's magic. So she's all like, let me focus on my mirror powers, and she goes over, and the lake, it's not even a lake, it's just a little walkway with as she said, like 2 inches of water.
Yeah.
And she's like, this motherfucking thing. And then she's like, all right, Ronan, I'm gonna go explore. And he's like, the fuck? And he's like, you gonna die? And she's like, no, it's fine for me. You don't try, though. But I think
but they don't know that. That's the thing.
Yeah. But Ronan's like, we can see. And then, like, she tried it, and, like, once that was, he was like, fuck.
He gives her his light.
He does. He gives his light.
Sorry, this scene that, like,
and
I
like,
love her.
He's like, I'll wait here, and she says he curls in on himself, waiting for the darkness to embrace him, and she's like, oh, I feel so bad taking the light. But
the fact that he gave up his light, which would be the only way to find out another way back, or, like, would greatly aid if she dies, he's like, might as well not even see anymore. I'm pretty sure she's going to die, but I trust her.
Honestly, if she dies, he might just be in I don't need to make it back anyway.
Yeah, I know. These kids,
Nezzy'll just wake my brother. Oh, that's the other thing. It is confirmed that Declan has known this entire time that their little brother is a dream.
Yeah.
And their little brother isn't just a dream. He's Ronan's dream.
From when he was 3.
When he was 3. So if anything happens to Ronan, then their little brother will go to sleep forever like their mom. So Ronan has been working to try to, like, he and Adam have been working to, like, beef up his dreaming powers and stuff so that he can connect Cabe's water to his home and to everything, basically, so that his mom can wake up. And
yeah,
so
but
his brother will be safe.
He doesn't want to just connect it to the barns, which is like his family's home. He wants to connect it to everywhere, so that it's not just exchanging one cage for another. This book makes me feel insane. It's so good.
I love it, though, and I love Ronan, and I think it's so interesting that we got so little of him in book 1, except everybody else's perceptions of him.
Oh, and I think we also cut down with Ronan's perspective in this book again.
We did, yeah. Ronan's perspective. But we got more Ronan, but less Ronan's POV.
Yes. Ronan is in here because he's with Adam.
Oh yeah, Ronan and Adam are getting a little flirty. Ronan, what did Adam hurt? His hand or something? And Ronan left him a little medical thing. No, moisturizer. It was moisturizer.
Moisturizer because he has cracked hands and it's like an herbal blend. I'm like, you. It's okay. I'm okay.
Ronan's been making his feelings more well known, little by little.
And Adam's like, I think Adam literally goes like, oh, he has a crush on me, or I think he has a crush on me, but it's me. So. I keep interrupting you. You're not finished the summary.
We're having our summary and discussion. It's okay.
If we're doing summary and discussion, then
No, I mean, we've been discussing with the summary. I'm almost done, though. So
all right. And then I'll go on my little spiel.
Okay. Yeah, so she gets there. She gets across. She finds a tunnel, and she finds her mom and this man with a Welsh or some sort of accent, and she determines that is actually Artemis.
She's like, it's British, but not. Like, girl.
She's so judgy of this man from the get-go. But because, like, her parents are trying not to move because they're trying not to make it to this door where the sleeper is, and they're like, no, if we move, we'll get to the door. Especially since there's 3 of us here now, because remember, 3 is the number we want. And that's when, like, she's trying to get them to turn around and leave the tunnel when we are met by the other group. How the other group got there is that Green Mantle, that's his fucking name.
That's his fucking name. Oh, I literally thought of that.
I remember that you put those in my brain. Like, Mantle? Green Mantle.
Yeah, that's what I was doing it, not just because I'm cold. But now I look like a Game of Thrones character.
It's fine. So yeah, Green Mantle and Piper go to the tunnel, which is on the Diddley farm.
And to
Piper does not, like, we've got Piper, 2 hired killers, and Green Mantle and Jesse Diddley. And Jesse Diddley's like, nobody's getting past me to go deal with this. And they're like, no, let us pass. And Like, the men are threatening Jesse, and they're like, we're gonna shoot you, and he's like, no. He's like, I can't let you do that, and Piper just shoots him.
But no, but the Gray Man rolls up. Mr. Gray is there as well.
Oh, he was there by this point? I thought he came after.
No. It's like, Jesse's like, no, and then Mr. Gray steps out of the shadows and like, he said no. God, that man's so attractive, and I have no idea what he looks like.
So, but yeah, while the men are sitting there trying to like essentially negotiate,
like fighting, and she just
kills Jesse Dudley 3 shots to his abdomen, and they're all like, the fuck? And she's like, well, y'all weren't doing anything. I have shit to do. And this is when I'm like, again, I love her as a villain and stuff. She is like, I'm gonna get things done.
I love her. I
think when
her through what the fuck, Green Mantra's lens, because he portrays her as like not like other girls or something like that. I don't know. The way he's in love with her is so derogatory to other women, I feel like. And I'm like, just let her exist. Oh my god. And also just derogatory to her as well. Like, oh, all she cares about is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I hate you so much. It's fine.
I didn't feel like it was derogatory toward other women, but I did feel it was a very, like, gendered lens.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's a better way of putting it.
His affection for her is very, very gendered and stuff, but I take that as he's a very straight man.
He's also just misogynistic, but
yeah. Yeah.
They shoot Jesse, and then that kind of is, they tie up Mr. Gray, and that's kind of the end of the scene. We don't
and then they go to the tunnel, and then both the groups meet. And Piper is like, who are you? Why are you here? And the Gray Man's like, just leave her alone. And Piper's like, if y'all leave and just never say you saw us, I'll let you live. Because this is just a kid and 2 adults who are going through something, and I'm not here for this.
She's like, look, I'm not that kind of villain. But then the fact that
I don't care why you tied up these 2 adults, because that's the other thing. Blue has tied both of her parents up.
But with like a sweater and the wire on the lantern. Like, these are not.
They're obviously not fighting hard.
Yeah.
But so she tries to get them out the tunnel, but they are struggling a little bit, and this 10 seconds is the limit for Piper's patience.
Hilarious.
Because she's like, well, I was trying to feel good about myself by not killing a child, but I'm ready to. And so she is going to shoot Blue, but then Mr. Gray is like, no, that's my stepdaughter. And like tackles Piper, a bunch of things. We don't know exactly what happened because there's a really big scuffle and a bunch of things going on.
The light comes out, yeah.
Yeah, we hear some shots. It's complete darkness now. Mr. Gray is telling Blue and to just get out of there. And like the cave is collapsing. We're pretty sure because of the elks. And so they get out of there, right? Our group has made it out. Everyone's reunited. Yay! It's happy. We're back in the cave again. Piper is sitting there. Something's broken. She's in pain.
Oh, she is dying. She's
dying. She is like, she's heard that if somebody like she makes a comment on the morality of mercy versus killing, because she's heard that if somebody punches you hard enough so that you like pass out, that when you're passed out for a certain amount of time, that brain damage occurs. And she's like, I've been down here for hours. How much brain damage have I accrued? All those heroes who get to feel good about themselves for not killing, and then the people who have to live with the brain damage after. And I'm like, why does Piper sound like me?
I know. That was iconic. She is iconic.
Yeah, and then she's hearing somebody else die, and she's like, I don't know, who is that? And she's like, I can't figure out who's dying. Oh, also, Mr. Green has left at some point, because he's been stressing so hard about covering up.
He didn't leave. He's the one dying.
No, that's one of the, thugs.
No.
Yeah, Mr. Greenmantle left, because he was like, I can't cope, because Piper Piper was like, either stay or leave, and he's like, no, I'm leaving because I
Oh
can't
shit,
cover.
yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
totally
because
thought it was
he's
him.
like, you just killed somebody, and he's basically, you're making this a lot harder for me to deal with and stuff. And he's like,
Okay.
babe, you go do you, I'ma just out. And then she gets pissed at him because she's like, I go everywhere to do everything for you.
Yeah, this
And
is when I was drifting. Yeah, that
yeah.
when he left. I do remember it now, but I was
Which,
totally not.
again, I don't like them as a couple because I think they're a good couple. I like them as a couple, I think, because they're a very real couple, and they're not like a real couple that I see often, and so I find them humorous.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so she's lying there dying, and then somebody comes up to her, and I think they have light, and they're basically like, hey, hi, I need you to like wake this guy up with me. And she's like, why didn't you just do it yourself? And our mysterious voice in the dark is like, because she's like, two is better than one, but three is ideal, and we have three here right now, so at least until that guy finally bleeds out, and then we'll just be back down to two, so we should go do it now. And Piper's like, okay, and so they make it to the door. Also, it's Neve.
Yeah.
Our Neve, who went missing book one after.
You're supposed to be dead.
She is supposed to be dead, but no, she lived. And so they go in there, and Neve's like, okay, we need to touch it at the same time. And Piper's just like, whoa.
Yeah, she does not do that. And that's the end of the book. And then I texted Sam, hey, can we do your book next instead of mine?
It's like, no.
Okay, so my take on this book, and if people haven't picked up on it, I very much enjoyed this book. My little cousins are too young to enjoy this book, and I don't have anyone else in like the middle grade, or like in my family doesn't really read. Maybe I'll get my roommate to read it, but I'm like, I need someone to read this. I should text Matt and be like, Matt, talk to me about it. Matt.
Message Matt. Oh, I forgot to tell him about today's book talk.
It's fine. He's probably at work getting money like an adult. And so so last stream I said that I have so many feelings about Adam, and I need the next book when he's not as depressed and being possessed. Which really, what is depression except being possessed? No. To make my determination on him. And now that we're there, I love this man. Actually, I kind of hate him too. I don't know. I think he is the Tim Drake of this, which in that way is he'll say things and I relate too much to them. I'm like, I don't like this image, it's me. But also,
correct me if I'm misunderstanding. You love Adam. You hate how much you relate to him.
Yes. Or of a younger me. Like, younger me couldn't, like, Anyways, so I love this book. I love his, like, I don't want to fight with my friends anymore, and then, like, not handling that well of, like, oh, let me just, like, not have emotions about my friends, and then be like, wait, no, I love my friends. And then all his budding romance with Ronan, but also being like, no, there's no way someone like Ronan is like, I'm misinterpreting the way he's looking at me, and I'm like, no, you're not.
That reminds me. Also, Blue and Gansey have been having in my opinion, emotional affair on their friends.
Even though neither one of them have partners.
No, it's on the friend group.
Yeah.
It's because they're specifically hiding it that I feel it's affair.
Yeah.
It's not that they're just like, because Blue specifically, she's like, whenever she's really stressed or anything, she calls Gansey and they talk for a little bit.
Whenever she's really stressed, every goddamn night.
Yeah, and so like, and they talk a little bit and stuff, and they're both like, we shouldn't, and this shouldn't happen again, and because they feel like they would be betraying their friendship with Adam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all are already there.
You're already
been kissed.
I'm like, You guys, this is like some Victorian or like Regency kind of shit where like our fingers brush, and I'm like, I'm eating it up, but also
Meanwhile, Ronan's over here like I am aware that I am pursuing a feral cat, and therefore I must go slowly.
I custom made them some hand cream. But I'm like, they're so. We talked about this in the first stream, where they're teenagers, but not in an annoying way. Like, they're so written well as teenagers. Which I used to rant a lot. I literally have a video on my channel about having beef with the way teenagers are written. In this book, this author, Maggie Stiefvater, does it beautifully. Even just in we are dealing with ancient Welsh gods. People are kings. People are dying. There's a magic forest, and yet the same weight is attributed to them not being able to tell their friend, who neither one of them are dating, that they're.
I don't want to make it weird.
Highly in love. It would make it weird, but we can't. You might get like sad.
Oh my god, we haven't mentioned Noah.
Oh. Our beloved, the best boy, just here, being possessed on the daily.
Yeah, he's been hanging around Blue a lot because he's been using her energy to exist, but also he's going through some things because mentally he's all like, I'm tired of decaying.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm tired of decaying, and then also the sleeping thing. At one point, they think Gwendolyn was fueling him when he had this weird freak out at the Diddley
farm. Totally got possessed by her.
Yeah, and then other times it's like they think maybe the sleeper that they were trying not to wake up was also messing with Noah, but I don't think in this book we yet know fully what is going on with Noah again. And
like just like an open circuit that anyone can kind of like plug into.
Yeah, and it messes with him. And at some point they suggested, they were like, hey, maybe we should maybe we should use our list to bring Noah back to life. And Noah's like, I don't think I'd enjoy that.
No. Did they turn it? I don't think he turned it down. I thought Gansey has decided that that's what he's going to use his wish to. But what he turned down was, Blue was like, do you want us to lay you to rest? And he goes, no.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
But, like, because Gansey doesn't know he's the one that's going to die. So everyone else is like, yeah, we're going to use our wish to save Gansey. And then Gansey's like, oh, Noah, our only dead friend, right?
Yeah, right? We're back.
And then we don't know what Ronan knows.
Which is also fitting because the reason Gansey is alive is because Gansey lived when he should have died, when somebody died when they should have lived, and it was Noah. So
who died? They make me feel insane. It's fine. Adam and Ronan coming up with this like fake child murdering plot. That also it lightly alludes to something else worse that Green Mantle did to children.
Perversions, he said.
Yeah, perversions toward children. And then Adam being like, yeah, when left to his own devices, Ronan creates beautiful things. And then the moment I have my hands on this power, I create something horrible, disgusting. And Ronan must be so horrified by me. Meanwhile, Ronan's like, I can't believe my power. This is what I get. I can't believe my power failed and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, no, you're misinterpreting each other. It's not.
Ronan's like, he must be so upset with me that I've let him down.
And I'm like, also, I think Ronan would be kind of in awe of your ability.
Yeah, Ronan would just be like, man.
I appreciate how vague they are on the specifics of it, without being dumb vague. Like, I still know what's going on, but I don't. I'm like, we don't need to shift genre.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward with it, but they're straightforward in a way that if you don't already understand it, then you're not gonna know the depth.
If you're a kid reading it, and or if you don't know, which hopefully kids wouldn't quite process, it'd be like, oh yeah, child murdering's wrong, and it's like, yep, that's it.
Oh.
That's all that needs to be known for this thing.
Hurting kids is bad.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of the way this book we've discussed before, and I know there's a lot of discussion these days about how children's books, middle grade books, dumb stuff down for kids, and they're like, don't treat kids as the processing power, being able to handle things, or like children's TV shows now versus 10 years ago, or maybe 20 years ago. And I was like, back to my childhood, 15 years ago, let's go with 15 years ago, and handling heavier topics and such. And I think this was written like 2014, but I think this is a great example of like dealing with, you know, interpersonal relationships, within friendships, romantic relationships, between parent-child relationships, handling the concept of death, what you want to do versus what your friends want to do, different goals in life, the concept of growing up, and like Adam's whole thing of like child abuse and facing down your abusers and how you don't have to do it alone, and all these great lessons and things that are discussed within this book. It's a young adult book, probably, right? Not middle grade.
That's what I was just double checking, because I was like, wait, I think it's YA, but your
still,
point
YA,
on middle grade still stood, and you were still like, so
I think I mean more middle schoolers than middle grade, but like a ninth grader could read this, or an eighth grader probably. I would probably be reading this at 11, because I was so skewed.
I think it's seventh grade is around age 12, 13. So I would say middle schoolers could.
Yeah. A mature middle schooler.
And that's the younger end of YA. So.
Yeah, and I think that it definitely we get concepts like we did Fade to Black sex in this between the adults, but it was like, and then they took off their clothes. Anyways, next chapter, kind of thing where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Versus other YA, or even maybe I was automatically scaling it down because so much what should be YA is adult classified as YA.
Oh, that's a thought.
So my brain was like, oh, this is actually well done YA, so I'm automatically scaling it down to middle grade.
No, I think it's a great example of something that should be like in the first half of the YA section.
Yeah. And I think it would be a great, like the fact that I'm an adult, you're an adult, and we both thoroughly enjoy this.
Yeah. And
this novel.
Actually,
not as like, oh, I would love this as a kid. Like, no, I love this right now.
Actually, I would like to amend just anybody in the YA section, because they're also talking, like you said, with dealing with colleges and stuff. And in this one, Blue, she really wants to go to a college, and now she's having to deal with the financial reality of not being able to go to her dream college.
Yeah.
And
the financial stuff,
the pride of independence for not asking Gansey to give her a interest-free loan.
Yeah. Oh, Adam's finally realizing that Gansey trying to step in and solve his problems isn't trying to be his knight in shining armor. It is just friendship. And I'm like, fucking finally. Like,
I think that's Adam getting over his crush, to be honest.
Yeah. But I'm like, that moment, and I'm like, I have been waiting 3 books for that. And that has been part of the reason why I've been so like, Adam, this whole time. And so I'm so, like, even post that, I'm like, just the friendships in this novel are so strong. And they acknowledge the fact that they're codependent as fuck, and it's hilarious. But I'm like, also there's nowhere they'd rather be than
my God. Orla and Blue's conversation when she's like basically warning her not to become codependent on a bunch of rich boys.
Yeah.
And she's all like, you don't fucking understand our group. Leave our cult alone, Orla.
Yeah. Leave our little incestuous, everyone's holding everyone's hands, but also we're kind of siblings with each other, so leave alone.
Poor boys.
Yeah, it's.
I will say I continue to hate the ongoing thing with Gansey calling Blue Jane and referring to her as Jane to other people. I feel it's so fucking annoying and disrespectful. because she didn't like it.
Yeah.
And
I
he's
think,
like,
yeah.
it wasn't something that she ever like gave him. It's one thing to do it to egg her personally, but to do it so much that this completely other person knows her
I
as
didn't like that the stranger called her Jane. The professor guy was like, no, it's not your thing. This is their little flirty banter thing. It's weird when you do it.
no.
Um,
That's why I hate when Gansey does it too, because like that's not how he.
yeah.
I just hate it.
I would, if there was a conversation around it, or there was like even a moment where he calls her Blue and she's like, no, that feels wrong coming from you.
I do like our little not Merlin wise the professor who comes in and is just so very rich British, and everybody keeps trying to get like Adam and Ronan are trying to exchange judgy looks with Gansey, and he's like, I don't see you, I don't see you, I don't see you.
No longer me, no longer
Blue
me.
exchanges a judgy look, and he's like, he did exchange a look with Blue, and I'm like, favoritism.
I think the professor being there and that being such like a comic relief thing happening the whole time, but he is useful. He provides useful information and stuff, without being like, oh, he's in the scene again or anything like that. Like I thought him in scenes, Mallory, that's his name, were just kind of funny. Like it was just so dumb. And then him, but he does the whole like crazy hat Merlin, like, you know, pointed hat kind of Merlin vibes when he comes in and is like, no, I have the dog because I have this like magical thing that's going on. And I feel like he's aware kind of how the kids see him. And
yeah, especially because it turns out he sees auras. And so the fact that he sees, there's no way he doesn't know. I think he's just sort of, he's like, it's fine.
He just does not give a fuck that these people think he's some crazy rich British dude, which he is a crazy rich British dude, and I think he owns that. I also think that I love
him for it.
Yeah, this is like a fucking film kid thing, but like in class we talk about classes we talked about, past tense because I'm not in college anymore, different plots and stuff, and how much like adding just like a random 3-beat plot to a storyline, when we're talking about episodes, but with the book, just brings it together and makes it fully fleshed. The like fucking M plot of him trying to have a good cup of tea throughout the whole book is just like something little that just shows the depth of writing, and I think the skill that Maggie Stiefvater brings to the Raven Cycle. And it was just there's multiple little things like that where I'm like, damn, she's a good writer. Like it just felt so satisfying.
Also the dog was a really good way to set up that conversation between Blue and Mallory about auras and his anxiety, because we had the dog and because of how he interacts with the dog. Like at first I was like, sir, be nicer to that dog.
Yeah.
But then like essentially the dog is trained on anxiety, and he's new to having this service animal, and traveling with the service animal made it worse.
Yeah.
Because the dog kept trying to do his job at a time when he essentially, it's like he's in a position where normally he would have just been able to cope. And he would have just been able to deal with the position he was in. But because he was juggling this dog who's supposed to make things better, a brand new service dog who's supposed to make things better, it made things worse.
Yeah, and the fact that we've already established multiple books ago that he's terrified of flying, or he hates flying, or something like that. And then having like a new thing thrown into your rhythm in general, like even without magical shit, like that's not gonna. I mean, even flying with Storm, I love Storm. Flying with Storm, as someone who's afraid of flying, was like an extra level of awful. So add a magical element to that, and Storm wasn't even trying to do anything, but if she was like trying to get in my way as I was trying to do something, like I have figured out how to do this for the best myself, and now there is an added element trying to tell me how to do it the best, and that's making everything worse. I could definitely like, like everyone's making, like they weren't making fun of him, but he was the butt of the joke. And but I still thought it was funny because he's a fancy poncy British man. And we're allowed to punch
He
up
just
too.
wants good tea.
He just wants a good cup of tea. And the fact that the earthy tea at Fox Way was like the most he could tolerate because Gansey can't make a cup of tea. Anyways, but yeah, I love this book. I kind of want to get like a nice box set of it to put on my shelf. My roommate has a bunch of really nice like sets of books, so I'm like,
You can probably find a nice sprayed edges one too.
Yeah, probably. But
The
I don't
covers
have
really lend themselves to that already.
So that will be the future CB purchase. But yeah, I love this book, and I'm so happy that you introduced me to it.
And you'll be happy to know that my pick for next month is book 4.
Good. You don't have a choice. I'm reading it without you. I've already got it from the book, the library.
You have to read your book first.
I know, and we're going to read it in like 3 days. And also, well, would you like to do the reveal of what my book is?
Yes.
My book is Fablehaven by Brandon Muell. And what threw me off so much about this, well, this is a book I read when I was a small child. I have a bunch of them. This is the cover of Fablehaven I recognize, which was throwing me off so much.
Well, if you want specific covers, you have to send them to me.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that until earlier today when I was checking it out from the library, and I was like, oh, that's it. And I think I talked about this in the last stream, I was getting confused. Fablehaven, and then around the exact same time, I read Fablehaven Sisters Grimm, which is about 2 sisters. Fablehaven is about a brother and a sister. And I own a bunch of the Fablehaven ones, of course, in Pennsylvania, so they're useless to me. But I went out and bought the Fablehaven books. So I assume I really liked them. And I look forward to reading them again, because I practically remember nothing. Sadly, I can't actually find an audiobook version of Fablehaven.
Neither can I.
So we will have to.
The ebook is ready. We will discuss when we do Fablehaven. I am not discussing doing anything before the 7th. I have too much to do.
We will decide on a date and post it everywhere.
Also, we can change out the cover. This is my bootleg.
Thank you. I would like to change out the cover now that I found the one that made my brain go, yes, that is it. So yeah, thank you guys for coming to Book Talk. If you're here, if you're on the replay, hi. Shout out you, comment below what book.
We definitely have to let Matt know when we're streaming Raven King.
Yes, we will. Cool.
Right, I've got to go, so bye.